FM. And I am here. I'm super excited to be here. And I am here with my girl, Cleveland Kate. What is up, Cleveland Kate? How you doing today?
I'm okay.
You
I'm okay. That was a lot last night. It was a lot.
but but Kate,
It was a lot last night, Rach.
we haven't did a show together in almost 2 months. So I wanted you to be a little bit more enthusiastic to talk with me today.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I just wish there was a happier story that we got to tell today. And I know you're not going to like my comments on the halftime show. We'll save that for later.
Your comments on the halftime show? Yeah, we're gonna talk about the halftime show. But please don't do get off my lawn, Catherine
Never.
from North Ridgeville, Catherine, get off my lawn, dude, with me. So how you been, first and foremost?
Good. Better than you with your Rona issues and everything else. Just good.
Yeah,
good. It's a new year. It's Valentine's Day. Happy VD. Football season's officially over, right? And then we have a few weeks until the draft starts. I wrote down some dates because I tend to think of football season as being year round. The HBCU Legacy Bowl is on the 19th of February. The Scouting Combine in Indianapolis is the 1st of the 7th. The franchise tag deadline is March 8th. And then the new league year starts March 16th. So we have like literally 30 days of off season, and then the new league year starts and we'll start talking drafts. So, people talk about a lot of the other sports, how long their seasons are because they have so many games. The NFL still finds a way to have something on the calendar for all 12 months.
Yeah. And I see you're prepped and ready to go already. And we're not even 24 hours out of our Super Bowl yet. But you're reading off the calendar to me.
Well, yeah, because I didn't have a team playing yesterday. Like I had a team I really wanted to win and a team I really didn't want to win. And as always, I jinxed it. So if the Browns ever go to the Super Bowl, I'm putting like every penny I have on the other team just because I'm a jinx. But I'm ready to move on with the next year. I'm ready to move on with, we can talk about, obviously we could talk about the game, but I'm ready to put a list of questions in front of Andrew Berry and ask him what he's going to do so that my Browns are the ones playing in the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah.
So this year was not the year we wanted. It was not the year we were promised. It was not the year we expected. It was not the year it should have been. I get COVID, I get injuries. Every team deals with those. So I'm not happy with the way either of those situations was handled this year. I think it cost us a lot. But if you look at our division, what a hot mess our division is. From Cincinnati going from last to first and playing in the Super Bowl, Pittsburgh passing up Baltimore, us being stuck at the bottom with Baltimore, like the whole division has flipped. And what does that mean for next year? Because I'm already looking at next year. And obviously Cincinnati has to be the team to beat, right? Their weapons are all coming back. They're young. You got Burrow, you got Jamar Chase, you got Mixon. They're all coming back next year. That defense is tough. So they have to be as the being in the Super Bowl and the AFC champs, they have to be the team to beat in the division. Pittsburgh don't have a quarterback now, so who knows what they're going to end up with. We'll have to wait and see if they pick up somebody in the offseason. There's nobody in this draft I'd take in the first round for quarterback. So, we'll see what Pittsburgh does to answer that. I'm sure it's not anyone who's on their squad right now. So
but you're talking about that Cincinnati is a team to beat, but the Cleveland Browns have the cheat code against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, yeah, we can beat them, but we still ended up fourth in the division because we can't beat the other two teams in our division. That's 2 out of 6 games. We got to win 4 out of 6 minimum.
Well, they should be able to beat Pittsburgh going forward at this point because Pittsburgh doesn't have quarterback and whatever.
They should have beat them last year. Stupid things happened the second half of the year. I can't even with what went on last year. So I don't judge our 4th place finish as being related to the strengths of Pittsburgh or Baltimore. Our 4th place finish in the division was due to bad decisions that we made, both on and off the field. So, we can save that conversation for another day. People don't want to hear me This is all the stuff I would have told you the last few weeks if we were doing a show. But we should really talk about the Super Bowl. We should celebrate, the Bengals getting there and really turning around that franchise in 1 year that quickly. We should talk about how the LA Rams have proven once again that if you take your team and uproot it out of the city you're from and devastate millions of fans and move to a new town and start over, that you get rewarded with the Super Bowl. That it's perfectly okay to do that, that your owner can have dementia, borderline Alzheimer's, but we'll still trot him out and have Roger Goodell try to have a conversation with him because he's an idiot and it was embarrassing and shameful. And we can talk about Matt Stafford because apparently it wasn't Detroit all these years they were like, are the Lions that bad or is Matt Stafford that bad? Apparently it wasn't Matt Stafford's fault that the Detroit Lions couldn't win a game. Because dude got a Super Bowl ring.
So they tried the owner out to talk, and I turned away because I was so mad. And so me and DJ Chris Styles got into it before the show about the fandom goes. I believe Ohio versus everybody, Ohio over everything. And whenever the Cleveland Browns are out of it, in the past few years, it's always been that way. And when Cincinnati was going to the playoffs quite frequently, I would then root for Cincinnati because they were the team for Ohio. I would still do the thing with the Reds. If the Cleveland Indians were out of the playoffs, I would root for the Cincinnati Reds. So that's my philosophy going into it. Ohio State, they went to the Rose Bowl, but, Cincinnati went to the national semifinals. So I was rooting for Cincinnati against Alabama. And DJ Cristales informs me today that I shouldn't be rooting for Cincinnati because Cincinnati would not be rooting for us. I absolutely believe that they would root for Cleveland if we made it to the playoff because we represent the state. I'm pretty sure that there were a ton of people from Cincinnati rooting for the Cavs.
DJ Cristales can
now that
kiss a kitten and go on with his day. How I treat someone is not based on how they're going to treat me back. Whether Cincinnati would root for me or not is irrelevant. They're in my state. I'm loyal to my state. I'm a root for them.
Yeah, that's the way I feel too.
Now, there are limits. Luckily, Michigan and Pittsburgh and Baltimore are not in my state. There are times where I root Ohio first. I'll root Big Ten next. And I did in the playoffs rooted for Michigan because I thought, you know what? They beat us. We let them. It would be nice if they win a championship so we can at least look back on it and say that was that one time in a million where they actually had a good team. Instead, they go out there and embarrass the entire Big Ten with that performance in the playoffs. You make that face all you want. This is playoffs. It's not bowl game. I'm not talking about bowl games. I'm talking about national championship. Anything that makes the Big Ten look better because we're already fighting with all the SEC bias and people thinking the Big Ten isn't as good as the SEC. So anytime a Big Ten school is in a spotlight like that against an SEC school, I'm going to root for them. Luckily, I don't have to do it often. I will never root for Pittsburgh or Baltimore, period, paragraph, end of statement. But I ain't got no problem with the Bengals. I ain't got no problem. I don't care what Sam Weiss says. We're not Cleveland. That was 30 years ago. Move on with your life. I don't care. I don't have any beef with Bengals or their fans. They're the same basic colors we are. I don't understand. Like, okay, why, if you're not going to root for Cincinnati because they were the Ohio team, what is your reason to root for the Rams? Because it certainly can't be because Odell Beckham Jr. is there. Because I'm feeling some kind of way about the fact that he has a ring and I don't.
I feel the same way.
And
I'm feeling some type of way.
Maybe this is petty and uncharitable, but bruh tore his ACL yesterday. Who knows what that means for his football career and where he's going as a free agent, but it's torn. Maybe that's a little karma.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't say
and
that.
All of that being said,
talk about the injury.
Yeah. All of that being said, I was a little aggravated that Cooper Kupp got the MVP because he didn't do all that much.
Yeah. I think
he got two passes in the second half that mattered.
Yeah, I'm like he had how many catches did he have for the game?
Now you might say because they were double teaming him the first half is why Odell got a shot at a ball, and I'll give you that. But if you're going to do somebody on the offense, I would have given it to Matt Stafford because he was the one who was throwing the ball.
Yeah, and he's a quarterback.
I just don't think Kupp did enough by himself. You know what I mean? I didn't like it. Didn't like it. And I'm aggravated with the Cincinnati defense because they have one weapon. One weapon and one weapon only, and it's Cooper Kupp. And you let him get open and you let him get a ball. That whole defensive series before that last touchdown was a hot, holy mess. I don't know why there wasn't a timeout called with the penalties and bringing it back and everything that was going on. I don't know why they didn't call a timeout and stop and check themselves and take a minute to breathe with 2 minutes left in the game and a minute and a half and a minute 19 when they finally gave up the touchdown and get the ball back. Now you've got to have conversations about the offensive plays that you're calling. They scored in 26 seconds earlier in the game. I didn't think a minute 19 was a problem. I'm like, oh, they'll be in field goal range in 30 seconds, and then they'll have a couple shots at the touchdown, and then they'll just get the field goal and we'll be good. So I wasn't happy with their last offensive play calling. I thought Zach Taylor let himself down. He was doing fine up until then. But that defensive stand is a bigger thing to me because there were so many plays in there because of the penalties that kept getting called back and redone. And they were offensive penalties and they're, coming back, that the defense should have taken a timeout, should have taken a breath, should have collected themselves a minute. Coaches should have calmed, even if it's not to call a play, even if it's just, this is it right here. You've played 3 quarters and 14 minutes to get you to a minute and a half. This is your season right here. Take a moment, take a breath, get your head on, and just worry about the next play. Don't worry about worry about the next play. Get them off the field. And so I think that's when the game got away from them. But up until then, I didn't see anything that made me think the Cincinnati team was as young and inexperienced as they were. I will say the other thing that I found incredibly aggravating was Joe Burrow's getting sacked 6 times in the second half. I don't know what happened to his offensive line, but he was getting rid of that ball fast early. And we knew that Rams defense it's in the top 5 of the league for a reason. At halftime, they made adjustments and they came out and they were jumping. They were guessing the count and they were getting to him fast because he was getting rid of that ball so fast. The offensive line did not adjust. The number of sacks he took in the third quarter is unacceptable. And I just don't know that they accounted for that because nobody else, no other defense they played this year got to him like that. So they may have known what adjustments to make if that happens, but they didn't talk to Joe about it. They didn't talk to the line about it. They didn't prepare them well enough to deal with that defense getting on him as fast as they did and sacking him the way they did in the third quarter.
Yeah, and also the way that they were getting to him in the fourth quarter as well. You would have think that the offensive line would have made those adjustments, and they just didn't. And that's, unfortunately, I think going into the game, I think I had a bet with Willie and Marshawn that I said that Cincinnati was going to win, and they almost won the game, except for, a minute and a half left. They almost won the game, but I said Joe Burrow was going to get sacked more than 5 times, than he did, and they still almost won the game. So we got to take a quick break really quickly. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We will be right back.
Riding, tuck your tummy tight and do your crunches like this.
Cleveland Browns All-Pro Defensive Player Denzel Ward, Make Them Know Your Name Foundation presents the Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo Saturday, February 19th at the First Energy Stadium. Listen, the importance of heart and health is coming to Cleveland All-Star Weekend. Make sure you guys show up. This event is going to be crazy. Wide variety of workout sessions, hip-hop dance battle, musical performances, a silent auction, celebrity access, and gas. Man, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy right now. Great food, prizes, and giveaway, and our trainer lineup is some of the best in the business. We got Cleveland's own Philly Weed Perfect, the high-energy cardio class charged up. We got cardio boxing with Jordan, yoga with Lola, step with Ari Hassan, move with D. We got the booty builder with Ron and other trainers from LA, New York, and Chicago. I want to see you work out. You don't have to work out. This expo will provide access to health and wellness information, free vaccine and booster shots. Yeah, I said it. Free vaccine and booster shots. Prizes, giveaways, shopping, food options. Did I just say prizes and giveaways? Have an opportunity to win a concert, comedy, and car giveaway. Get a chance to go to the culture tour with New Edition, Charlie Wilson, Joe to see. Have an opportunity to see Chris Spencer at the Improv and go to a Cavs game all while driving in a Porsche. Yes, that's right. driving, and of course, listen, for more information, for ticket and event information, go to www.clevelandallstarfit.eventbrite.com. That's www.clevelandallstarfit.eventbrite.com. Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo, Saturday, February 19th. First Energy Stadium at the 7-Up City Club is brought to you by Make Them Know Your Name Foundation, Union Home Mortgage, and WOVU 95.9 FM and Burton Bell Carr Community Radio Station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right. Well, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Cleveland Kate today. And today is a Cleveland Kate Vent Day.
Where did you watch the Super Bowl, Rachel? Did you go anywhere to watch it? Did you have a party? Did you go to a party?
I did not, because COVID is still out there. So I decided to watch it at home by myself, and it was absolutely fine. But, I know that this is a sad day for you, Cleveland Kate, because it signifies the end of something, and that is the end of the NFL season. And, not until August of next year will we begin to, have preseason games and things like that and get into the real thick of football. So I understand that you're mourning right now.
But my mourning, I'm allowing myself one day. I'm allowing myself today to be sad that football season's over. And we'll get to this later in the show. For the first time in 6 years, we have a Cavaliers team that's worth watching. We have a Cavaliers team that's exciting as hell. We have a Cavaliers team that knows how to play basketball. And I have been watching an awful lot of basketball the last few months, girl.
You have?
And that is going to help me get over my funk with football being done, is that because we've suffered through some pretty bad basketball the last few years. And this team is super fun to watch right now and super talented. And even you can't say hateful things about Kevin Love. Can't wait to talk Cavs later.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Kevin Love right now. We have had a very fickle relationship with him, but I am all aboard. I am all in, and you got to let him know. But, getting back to this Super Bowl game, I caught mainly all of the Super Bowl game. But I feel like at sometimes, I tuned out a little bit because, I feel like I tuned out a little bit because I was just mad about what was going on. You know that the Bengals are one of the least penalized teams going into this game in the doggone league. And then at the very end, what happens? A ton of penalties. And I'm like, did the refs have the fix in? I don't know what's going on. I'm like, why can't we just win? We're from Ohio. Why can't the Bengals do it? They pretty much held on all game, but their offense kind of stalled a little bit. What are your thoughts about those penalties at the very end? And do you feel like they definitely played a role in the outcome of the game? Because some people are saying that the refs missed the face mask. That was important, but also the refs missed a holding for Cincinnati that could have been crucial as well.
The refs missed a face mask from Higgins on Jalen Ramsey for the first touchdown that the Bengals scored. So I feel like the face mask just evened each other out. In general, for most of that game, the refs just let them play. And I have no problem with that. And every one of the calls they made, I thought were the correct call. There were quite a few no calls. But again, there were a lot of those throughout the game. They were trying. I thought this crew did a very nice job of trying to just let them play. But at the end of that game, the penalties that were called, in my mind, needed to be called. The pass interference, the holding, those things, you're in the red zone on a score that's going to affect the outcome of the Super Bowl. You better play clean. And if you can't play clean, we're going to call it now. I didn't have a problem with any of them. I think the biggest effect it had on Cincinnati was it made it hard for them to get in. It takes you out of the rhythm of a regular play or a regular series. And they have less experience than the Rams do. And so instead of just one penalty and then you're back at it for the next couple downs, it was penalty, penalty, penalty. And you had to keep a reset in your mind. Wait, now what's the down and distance? Where are we at? What am I doing? And resetting that. So maybe what Cincinnati needs to think about is finding a more vocal leader on defense, finding someone who's going to be better at, in those situations where you have penalty after penalty like that, getting all of his teammates on the same side and going, listen, it's now 2nd and 15, it's 3rd and whatever, it's 1st and whatever, and just being like, and just circling them up and reminding them, okay, here's what we're going to do in this situation, and reacting quickly with it. I just don't think they could react quickly enough to the changes in what was going on in a situation where it's not even just win or go home. It's you stop them or you lose the Super Bowl. You needed that stop.
Yeah, it was some penalty. I can't remember what it was because I was texting with William Marshawn and I was like, wow, that call at this time right now, wow. I can't remember what it was.
Because a couple of them I saw earlier in the game and they let it go. And I'm like, you let it go earlier and you're not letting it go now.
Right.
And I don't know from a player's perspective. So you and I watch a lot of baseball. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is I don't care how big or small the strike zone is, as long as it's the same for both teams and as long as it's the same in the 1st inning and the 9th inning. And in basketball, you hear the same thing from the players, is you're allowed the refs will give you a little leeway with contact. And once you get a feel for what the ref will allow or doesn't allow, you can adjust your game going forward. I don't know if football players do that. I don't know if some of the push-in that was going on in the 4th quarter and in the last 2 minutes had been going on earlier and the refs had been letting it go. And now all of a sudden they're calling it and the players are like, what, dude? I've been doing that all game and you were letting it go. And so I thought we were allowing that today. And now all of a sudden you're not letting it go. I don't know if football players do that kind of thing, if they have that kind of mentality of exactly what the refs will allow and won't allow. That might be something DJ Chris Styles could speak to. But there were a few that looked like they had those expressions on their faces like, wait, I've been, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing. I've been rubbing all night and you've been letting it go. And now all of a sudden I'm not allowed to rub anymore. I don't think it was rigged. I don't think any of that. I don't think anyone was shaving points or doing any of that stuff.
Timing of some of those, though.
I want to be, it's Ohio against the world and they're screwing us, but I actually really do, for once, I can't remember the last Super Bowl that was this good. Like from beginning to end, you couldn't stop watching it. Even the year the Patriots kicked up all over the Falcons, that game was over at halftime. And then Brady did what Brady do and came back out of nowhere and won it. But it wasn't a good game from the standpoint of you had to watch every second because you couldn't take your eyes off because it was lopsided all the way one way and then the other. And then the rest of them had just been so lopsided. And I just felt like playoff weekend, that game was I could not. It was difficult because it's one of those things where you can't wait for the commercial because you got to go to the bathroom. But it's a Super Bowl, so you can't go to the bathroom during the commercials because the commercials are good. So then we're pausing during the game so we can go to the bathroom and then come back. Hilarious.
My Fire Stick don't got that option to pausing. But I think one of the things that we were waiting for while the Super Bowl was exciting because you want to see who's going to break a big one.
Yes.
You want to see if
and Cincinnati did when they scored the prop bet. There was a prop bet over under 1 minute and I believe it was 1 minute and 19 seconds, 1 minute and 28 seconds, something like that. You could bet the over and under on a scoring drive. And people were like, oh, nobody ever scores that fast. And I said, if I was in Vegas, I'd be dropping $100 on the under because I saw what Buffalo did to Kansas City. They scored in 8 seconds. So Cincinnati is absolutely capable of that. And they did 26 seconds and they scored 2 plays.
How much would you have won if you had put something down on it?
I don't know. I don't know what the odds were, but at some point we'll have a sports book in here and I probably could have got on a mobile app and done it, but I tend to get myself in trouble from a gambling standpoint. So it's just best if I talk about what I would wager and I don't actually put money down on things. So yeah. Are we on Facebook too today, girl, or are we just on StreamYard?
We are Facebook. I can't see it, but we are on Facebook. That link goes live. So I gotta figure out how to do it again where I can see it on my computer as well. But I don't know why I can't see it on Facebook because I do two computers, one for looking stuff up and then the other one of
I see
us.
George commenting. It looks like he's in the chat room. Y'all can go to the chat room here on StreamYard, or if you're watching us on Facebook, you can comment on the live stream and it'll show it, because I'm on your Facebook and I don't see the live stream, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. I'll make sure it gets put up there. What George say? Hey, George.
George says, since he still needs an offensive line, Pittsburgh is looking for their arm. Baltimore needs a running back that survives training camp, and the Brown and Orange need a wideout to complete our running game. So George hit on the one thing that I think you asked me about earlier, and that I wanted to say from an off-season, what do the Browns need standpoint? They need Jamar Chase. They need the Odell Beckham who played in the playoffs, not the one that played all season and didn't finish his routes and gave up on plays. They need Cooper Kupp. They need an explosive wide receiver. And while I love Jarvis and I love Hollywood Higgins and I love a lot of the receivers we have on this team, we don't have a guy that demands double coverage. We don't have someone that's explosive and exciting. I thought Schwartz was going to be it. Maybe he can turn into that. We'll see what the offseason does for him. But if they're going to go after anybody in free agency or focus on somebody in the draft, that's what I'm going to focus on when I'm doing my draft prep, is looking at wideouts that are coming out this year and offensive line. I think we could always use depth at the offensive line positions. I think our defensive line's better, and it's fine the way it is. But I want an explosive wide receiver, because what you saw last night also was the Bengals did an amazing job taking the running game away from the Rams. They completely gave up on the run in the third quarter because they were getting nothing, and they had to go to the air. And unfortunately, they didn't have anyone in their secondary that could handle Cooper Kupp once Krowski or whatever his name is quit dropping balls and letting balls get intercepted and actually caught a couple. You had to put somebody on him. And then even at times with two guys on Kupp, it wasn't enough. And I want somebody like that. I want someone who's going to demand a double team and still make catches. Like I said, I want the Odell that played in the playoffs, not the Odell that played on this team all year and quit on his routes.
We're going to talk about that in a sec, because I'm going to ask you, how do you personally feel about Odell getting his ring? But we got to take a quick break right quick. So you are listening to Her in the Huddle, WOU 59 FM. We'll be right back.
Hey, we want some money. And you can get yours. Enterprise Community Partners presents free tax filing from IRS certified professionals. There's locations all around Cuyahoga County, and you can receive up to $6,600 from the Earned Income Tax Credit if eligible. They'll even be able to help you open a checking account to safely deposit your tax refund into, if you don't already have a checking account. There's no fees, filing is free, there's no catch at all. Schedule your tax appointment at refundohio.com. This message is brought to you by Third Federal, Huntington Bank, Dollar Bank, U.S. Bank, Ohio Savings Bank, Cuyahoga County Family Services, Bank of America, Cleveland Neighborhood Progress, IRS, Citizens Bank, Fifth Third Bank, PNC, Key Bank, and WOVU, a Burton Bell Car Community Station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. And keep in mind, you can always listen to us live at WOVU.org, and you can download that WOVU app, and you can take us with you on the go, so you can listen to us all the time and listen to us regularly at WOVU 95.9 FM, how you're listening to us today. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Cleveland Kate, and we are recapping the Super Bowl. And Kate, I have to respect her day of mourning. She says she's doing good. Like you go to a wake and you ask how the family's doing and all that other stuff. And Kate says she's feeling good. So I'm glad to hear that. But I know that today, is a bad day for her because of what it signifies. And that is the end of football. But she's already prepared with everything that comes next before the season starts again. And Kate, before we went to break really quickly, you started to talk about Odell Beckham. So you really feel like he quit here?
Yes. Yeah. I honestly do. I know he was coming back from an injury. It took longer, in my opinion. It took longer for him to get back than it should have, because I don't think he was ready to. I don't think mentally he wanted to come back. Maybe it was just he was afraid of re-injuring himself, which he did last night. And I guess if you're going to go balls to the wall and hurt yourself, it's going to be in the Super Bowl, right? But yeah. I feel like he wasn't given 100%. His fantasy numbers were garbage. He was quitting on routes. There were a couple of interceptions that Baker threw that should have been Odell's, but he didn't run his route. You know what I mean? There were quite a few instances where I felt he was more detrimental to this team on the field than anything else. So I was surprised that they cut him and let him go for nothing. Just from the standpoint of who are you going to replace him with? We didn't have anybody else there, but I really want Andrew Berry to tell us what happened, the truth of what happened, because my impression watching it was that he wanted to go and we said okay and we let him go and the Rams signed him. And that was the narrative for the next few weeks is how nice it was for the Browns to let him go and find a landing spot at that point in the season and not, just hold on to him. I don't know when that turned into the Browns cut him loose and left him for dead and left him adrift and hosed him or something, because I never felt like we did that. So I don't know why the narrative changed, but I would like to know the truth of what happened. Did we decide to part ways with him? Did he ask to go? Is there something going on in the locker room? Because if he just wanted to go and we said, okay, fine, but why did he want to go? Not that I want to dig into his business, but I want to understand more mentally about what's going on in that locker room. Is there something going in the locker room that he didn't like, that he needed to go? Is there somebody he had a conflict with? Was he having an issue with Baker? Was he having an issue with Stefanski? Do I need to worry about whatever problem he had affecting Jarvis Landry or Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt or Myles Garrett? You know what I mean? Do I have a problem that I need to address it with my team? Or was it just Odell wasn't happy and he wanted to go and we were cool and said, all right, go, and let him go, and now we're being made to look like jerks for letting him go? I don't know why that changed. I find it very puzzling.
Word on the street was him and Baker. Outwardly they got along, but inwardly they did not. And that was the thing.
And if that's the case, that's fine, because I guarantee you Joe Burrow gets along just fine with Jamar Chase. Find me somebody Baker can get along with. Let Baker go on a recruiting tour. I'm gonna get a list of the free agent wideouts this year, and we'll talk about them. And let Baker go find his receiver and bring somebody in here. Go get you a whoopee.
Baker ain't getting along with a lot of people.
Bring it here. We'll figure it out.
Baker ain't even getting along with Kevin Stefanski. Did you see that one press conference where Kevin Stefanski was like, "Yeah, we work together. We respect each other." One of the last press conferences he gave at the end of the season. You notice how he was very careful about his choice.
He was, and I have things to say that I'm not saying, because I'm trying to think of how to say them without sounding like I'm filtering. That's my resolution for this year, is to filter a little more, Rachel.
How's that going for you?
Yeah. Still early. So far, so good. So
exactly.
My biggest issue with this season, and I know I have told you this before, is that Thursday night that you and I and Marshawn went to see the Browns play the Broncos in case Keenum started because Baker was hurt, and they won that game. We said Baker should be out for the next 6 weeks getting healthy. Mm-hmm. In fact, if he'd have had the surgery that he needed then, he'd have been back in 8 weeks. Other players had that surgery and came in. It was his non-throwing arm. If it was his throwing arm, that's different. It was his non-throwing arm. He needed to be out and stay out until he was healthy. And that didn't happen. And I'm being told that didn't happen because he kept telling Kevin Stefanski he was okay and he wanted to play, and Kevin said, okay. You know what, Kevin? You're his daddy. You're not his friend. Kevin Stefanski should have said, Baker, you're going to sit your butt down until I am 100% convinced that you are healthy enough to not be a detriment to this team. And in the meantime, my boy Case Keenum's going to play. Because that was a winnable stretch of games. And I think we lost 4 of the ones in that next set of 6. That was a winnable stretch of games. Case Keenum was managing things just fine. If Baker had set out those 6, we would have had 3 more wins at the end of the season going into that last set of games that Baker would have won. And we'd have been in the playoffs and we'd have won our division. I'm putting this whole season on Kevin being a buddy to Baker and not being daddy and not being the boss. Someone gets to be the grown-up in the room, and someone needs to say, no, you're going to sit until I tell you can play again. For whatever personality things are going on or whatever, Baker needs a coach that he's going to listen to and respect. And if that's not Stefanski, then we have a whole nother set of problems to talk about, because then it's who do you keep?
Yeah, this whole
In Green Bay, they kept
situation.
Aaron Rodgers and got rid of Mike McCarthy. I don't know here who would win that popularity contest between Kevin and Baker. I don't know.
I know the real story behind it, but
Do you know the real story?
yes, I do.
He probably does. And
We'll
he
tell-
ain't,
we'll
he
do
ain't told us.
We'll do it off air though.
Okay.
They gotta be off
Do you
air.
like my new glasses? They look
I
blue
love
on the
it.
screen, but they're purple.
You're looking beautiful. You're looking great. I love it.
Yeah, those are cute.
You miss me.
Yes, I do. Yes,
Keep
I do.
trying to
But
get
the
there.
Browns did real quick. The Browns did let him go. They did him a favor, a solid. The
Yeah.
reason why he took some money away. He agreed to not take less money, so it was easy for him to get picked up through waivers. So he could go to LA. So it was a Browns. The Browns did do him a solid.
Right.
Out
And
of
they
good
still
faith.
had to pay him a chunk of money. No matter who picked him up, there wasn't any offsetting language. They still had to pay him money. They did him a solid, and I don't understand
well,
why
Yeah.
now everyone's crapping all over him for it.
Yeah, actually, he did a favor to. It was like both two folds.
Right.
He
It
took
was a
something out.
win-win. When
Yeah,
nobody
he took something
upset.
out, so they would have to pay a lot for him, and
Yeah.
so it was both for both
Yeah.
parties to win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if anything, Andrew Berry should be thanked. I know you said you want to talk to him, but Odell should be thanking Andrew
Yes.
Berry for putting him in a situation,
Right.
that in which he could be successful. And he has a Super Bowl ring, and everybody in
He
Cleveland,
does, but that begs the next question, right? Is in
everybody.
order to win this Super Bowl, I will tell you that not only did the Rams mortgage the future of that franchise, but that they are hosed for the next 5 years
Oh yeah.
or longer,
Yes.
depending on what decisions are made after that. They put everything they had on black, spun the wheel, and they won.
Every chip.
I get it. You put all your chips in, you won. You now have a Super Bowl. You have a Lombardi trophy. You have whatever money is going to come from being the Super Bowl champs. You have the emotion. You have the happy fans. It'll be, for you, is that worth it? Would it be worth it to you for the Browns to go all in, win a Super Bowl, and then be absolute crap for the next 10, 15 years? Now, to me, I will say yes, because we've been crap for the last 25 years. So ain't no skin off my nose. Give me my ring, and I'll be good. I got my Cavs ring. I'm good. Get me my football ring. I'll be good. But I don't know that other fan bases who've been as bad as we've been for a long period of time understand what that's like and are willing to suffer for it the way Rams fans are about to suffer for the Super Bowl they just won.
Oh, well, they'll be all right. They got a title now. They'll have their parade and all that other stuff. And LA is one of the title towns anyway. They'll win a title and something else.
I know.
Ain't
Oh,
gonna
did
be
you
basketball
hear?
no time soon.
Did you hear how the NFL did Cincinnati dirty?
No, what they do?
They wanted to have a watch party at the stadium. They wanted to put the Super Bowl up on the big screens and invite fans in and have a watch party. And the NFL said no, they wouldn't give them permission to broadcast the Super Bowl.
What? Why?
NFL has rights to the Super Bowl. They would not give the Bengals. How many watch parties for the Cavaliers did we have in Cleveland?
Everyone, every game.
Every road playoff game and the championship round games we had here. The NBA was like, bring it. Now, I get the NFL's the big brother on the block. They closed school today for all Cincinnati area public schools.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, They lost the game, but they still didn't have school today.
They still didn't have school today. And the NFL said, no, you can't show the Super Bowl on your big screens and have a watch party for your fans who can't come here.
But these are the little things.
That's some petty right there. I'm gonna be petty table of one when it comes to Odell having a ring. I am petty as hell about it. I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. I have no problem saying it. Not happy.
But you know,
going back to when the NFL won't even let a team who's in the Super Bowl. It ain't like the Rams weren't playing in the Super Bowl in LA. But might as well have been a home game. But they didn't need to have a watch party for their fans. Y'all were right there. You could have let the Bengals have a watch party.
Of why basketball has been innovative and became a global game, and the NFL is still, you know, here at home. You know, these are
the NBA is much more interested in fostering relationships with this fan and making the game accessible to everyone. The NFL wants their money, and they just want to sit back and make you come to them.
Mm-hmm. But these are
which is fine. But we are going to get to a point between the injuries, the CTEs, at some point players in the NCAA are going to want paid or are going to stop playing, and then they're going to lose their entire free minor league system. I'm telling you, 20 years from now, when I'm 75 and you're 45 and we're still doing this radio show, we're going to be talking about a very different type of football.
Well, my dad, and this is a sad part. Last night, my dad was like, "You'll probably be alive to see the Browns win the championship. I probably won't be alive by that time." He's only 65, but you know, I mean, that's just kind of sad. And you know, that's one of the things that my dad, you know, is thinking about, that you know, I might be able to see one before I die. And he's like, "I don't think I'm gonna see one," and that's just sad.
I don't think I'm gonna see one, Rachel. I'm gonna be 56 this year. I don't know that I'm going to see one. If we don't get one in the next 3 years, or at least an appearance, I think I'm just going to have to resign myself to the fact that I love a team that's not ever going to go.
I give myself 80 years at minimum. I'm trying to live to 100. I don't know if I even want to live that long, but you know, I'm trying to get to at least 80. So I'm hoping that, you know, another 40 more years, I might be able to see the Cleveland Browns make it to the actual Super Bowl. That's my hope. All right, we got to take a real quick break, right quick, because when we come back, excuse me. Let me get myself together.
It's easy for you to say.
I couldn't get it out. We're going to talk some Cleveland Cavaliers. So we're going to be right back. You're listening.
We're not going to talk halftime show? All right, that's fine. That's cool.
Oh, we can say the last few minutes for Cavs because they're off tonight. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Our students will celebrate the 9th annual Celebrity Soup for the Soul fundraiser. From 2 p.m. until 6 p.m., you can take deliciously prepared soups from Hilton Garden Inn, Edwin's, Pearl Flower Catering, Angie's Soul Food Restaurant, and they're providing 2 soups, in fact. Thistledown Chef, Northfield Park Chef, Simply Vintage Bakery Cafe, Booker's Soul Food Starters, and Lorac's Creole Kitchen. This year's Soup for the Soul
I used to just be able to go to your page.
Cleveland East Side. That's 700 right there. Cleveland, Ohio, 44143. All of these awesome soups will be served by celebrities, and we even got Kicking It with Kenny Crompton, and anchor and reporter Jasmine Bailey hosting this year's Soup for the Soul. Oh, wait. And I can't forget to mention, we also have Cleveland's own gospel singer, Tina Farmer, performing live. So make sure to go to Eventbrite or the Strengthening Our Students website and grab your ticket.
I can't even comment to ask George.
The Hilton Garden Inn, 700 Beta, Banquet and Conference Center, J Auto Group, Retina Associates of Cleveland, Key Private Bank, Popeyes, RPM, Dominion Energy, the AKA Team, Strengthening Our Students, and WOVU 95.9 FM, a Burton Bell Car community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with my girl, Cleveland Kate, and it has been a while since we have been together. I was out due to COVID, so I am feeling much better, and we are back together again. It's a new year, and I'm just happy to see you, Kate.
How was your Christmas? I think legit the last time we talked was after the Ohio State Michigan game, and we're neither one of us in a good mood that day.
It was good. It was good. The holidays were good. How was yours?
It was good.
Yeah, it passes quickly, and here we are in February already, and
I know. I don't know where this year has gone.
It's like that. So, that's the one thing I hate is that I'm trying to enjoy this time and it's honestly passing like that. So you wanted to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show. So, Kate, don't get off my lawn, Kate, okay? What did you not like about the Super Bowl show?
I loved the Super Bowl show. I loved the performances. I love Lil Kendrick Lamar. I love 50 Cent hanging upside down. Would have been hilarious if he'd have passed out. I'll do Dre all day. Snoop Dogg is my spirit animal. I love the set. They had the little things come out. I liked the people and the dance. I liked all of it. To quote one of my favorite lines from the movie Sister Act 2, it was all right for what it was, but it wasn't all that. For me, the last few years of Super Bowl halftime shows have been pretty bad. So the bar's set pretty low. It was a great halftime show, but I'm listening to people talk about how this is the best halftime show in the history of halftime shows and stuff. For me to go over to that side, I would have liked an original collaboration on something. I felt like I was listening to my 90s Spotify playlist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could have listened to all those songs on Spotify and been just fine. I would have liked something new from somebody, from anybody. A Mary J and an Eminem, a Dre and an Eminem, a Dre and a Snoop. Just something new would have put it over the top. I don't feel like anybody comes on that halftime show anymore to debut anything new or to do anything that's recent. You know what I mean? It's all a live performance in my Spotify playlist. I don't know. I did like it better than any I've liked in a long time. I just feel like people who are going crazy about it need to slow down a little bit. It wasn't all that. That's all I'm saying.
I think the NFL was catering to a certain age demographic this time.
Which is interesting because that's not where the money is.
But,
do you know what I mean? The people who are spending money on the Super Bowl and that are spending big money are the under 20, the 18 to 30s and the 50 and olders. And this music is what? 25 to 45 is this? I mean, I listen to everything. I listen to this. My kids listen to this, so I listen to this. I knew every word to every song they played last night. I know that surprises y'all. I'm an old white woman. I listen to everything. I'm not going to get off my lawn. Mary J. Blige, I love you. Snoop is my spirit animal. I think he's awesome. I love the music. I just would have liked something new, something to make me think one of these people was going to record some more music, because I don't like a lot of the stuff that's out now, and a lot of the artists that are out now, I don't feel are bringing me anything new. And these were all people, Dre, Snoop, Mary J, and Eminem are 4 people right there who set trends, who changed the course of music in this country. And it would have been nice to think that maybe they were going to bring me something new, that maybe they were going to get back in the game and give me something.
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl halftime shows are meh anyway. I don't get too up for them.
So it was a good one. There were no wardrobe malfunctions.
Janet took a lot of heat for that, and Justin Timberlake kind of escaped away. I read an excellent article about how their careers changed after that. But Justin ain't a golden boy all like that. They played my girl Janet Jackson, but
but she made some decisions to be a lot more private in her life after that as a result of that, and some of the invasive things that were said about her afterwards. So we have the same birthday. I love her.
I do.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into these Cleveland Cavaliers really quickly.
35 and 22. They're gonna win 50 games.
Huh?
60 games. How many games they winning this year, Rach?
Oh, I think they can get up to 60 games. Oh, that's a lot though. Let me give 55. 55. They definitely can win 50. They're gonna win.
And that
50.
loss to the 76ers was harsh, but they've been on a roll, and they were a little tired. I love this team. I love how they're playing. I love adding LeVert. I love the stories. I've heard a couple stories from people about Rondo. When he joined the team, they immediately went on that road trip out to Portland. And the night before the game, he took a bunch of the young guys, the first, second year guys out to dinner and bought them dinner and spent some time with them and did some talking with them. Like he's really embraced this team as a, he's going to get his minutes and he's going to have an impact. And he talked to them a lot. And you could see it because in that Portland game at the end, they were looking to him for direction on what to do and how to finish out that game and let him hit that game winner. And so I think he has been an amazing acquisition for this team. I think both his career is going to get new life. And then I think what he's going to teach these young kids, you can already see it. They're having so much fun. Even Kevin Love actually looks like, when Rubio went down, girl, I almost cried. When Rubio went down, I was like, that's it, we're done. It's the curse of Cleveland, but it wasn't. And they're still playing. Evan Mobley is still playing defense out his mind. That boy is too young and too small to be playing the defense that he's playing. I'm so excited for what he's going to be as he gets older and bigger. You know what I mean? As he puts some weight on, he's so young. His defense has been great. My husband just got home. We're talking Cavs, babe.
I hear Joe. I always hear Joe.
He's a complete Cavs fanatic. We watch every second of every game that they're on. He's whether they're home or on the road. He wants to talk about them all the time. He is all in on the Cavs. My daughter and her fiance went to that game the other night. Was it the Pacers? Where they were down by like 20 and then had that huge, massive comeback. Yeah. She's like, Mom, we were on our feet for the whole second half. And I said, as you should be. Yeah. Lesson learned. There's not enough points lead that you can get on this Cavs team. Because if they get on fire, look out. And not just because they're my team, because they're the home team. They are the most fun NBA team for me to watch right now. I can't think of another team that is as fun to watch as this team.
And it's not. And I think so many people want to see this team succeed because they don't have LeBron anymore. They want to see this cast and group of characters be able to do it. But Rajon Rondo was going to retire.
Yep.
But when they got him to the
Cavaliers, he wasn't getting his minutes. He wasn't playing. He wasn't getting his minutes. He's getting them here.
Yeah, and he's being because he wanted to go into coaching, so he's doing the coaching with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's being an awesome teammate. When Ricky Rubio went down, it was scary, but it's like this team has not missed a beat. I don't think they really can afford any more injuries, at all.
Yeah. But George says Evan Mobley for Rookie of the Year and K-Love for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sixth Man of the Year for Kevin Love, I think would be huge. I really do, and I think. If things play out this season the way that we're hoping they do, I think that is an award that he will cherish because there were a lot of us, and I say us, who had his career dead and buried in the offseason, and he has really come to life this year. And to be the sixth man is really a team player award. It's so much more than just dude who comes off the bench. If he continues this season and gets that, I think it'll mean a lot to him.
Yeah, he's been a consummate teammate, and he's one of the reasons why that they're in the position that they're in. And I have been mad at Kevin Love the past few years because I haven't felt like he's contributed to this team. And I'm mad at him, and this is difficult, for the way he's handled this. Because I have to walk a fine line, but the way he handled this emotionally, like him quitting during the game that time, on that out of bounds and just waving the ball away, things like that, where you can definitely tell. Yeah. Sometimes you couldn't actually tell if, LBJ was, dogging it because, he is coming off an injury, but Kevin Love did it on purpose.
Kevin is a very emotional player, and you can see when he is into the game and when he is not, and he is not been into basketball the last couple years. And I didn't know if it was a health thing, if it was a mental thing, if there's something going on with like him and JB and they weren't getting along, but everybody getting along fine this year. So maybe he just had some kind of funk to go through, but he just looks like he's having so much fun again. And I know winning cures everything, right? They're winning, but he's been this way all season, even before they were really showing signs that they could get into the playoffs and not crawl in as an 8th seed, like as a 3 or 4 seed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That East is so tight.
He's been a very different player this year.
Yeah, the East is so tight though. 1 to 2 games, you know, that drops you down some. So,
Right.
you know, this is you know, they're on the road tonight against Atlanta, you know, possible playoff team right there. So, you know, they're gonna have to, you know, not pick and choose what they lose, but you know, James Harden is gonna be playing a while, so that might, well, not really, because Joel Embiid is playing out of his mind right now. So I was worried about Philly.
Joel needs to have an off night, and I'm gonna call him Joel because that's how he spells it. He's due for an off night. Right, I'm taking us. We're winning tonight.
That dunk he had over Jared Allen, though, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, let him try that with my boys. I'll give him the stink eye.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great show. That's time. We at the end, so, you know, it's been amazing.
How is that an hour already, Rachel?
I know, you know, when you got a lot of stuff to talk about, you know, it's a good time, you know, I'm bye, but you know, that is it for me and you know, so it was great, you know, being here again, seeing you again, talking with you again, and
absolutely,
you know,
great.
Next week when we come back, we gotta fit a little football in, but you know, we're gonna be more basketball and talking about
All-Star game. Cleveland hosting the All-Star game this week.
Yeah, I know. Super excited. So a lot going on here. Big weekend coming up. So yeah, we'll be discussing that All-Star game, and hopefully they play like they actually want to play, and it's a little bit more competitive than usual. But
yes,
you know, for Cleveland Kate and for Rachel Hill, the first lady of sports, we are.